Hey, what's up, everyone? So I am in the church by myself. There is not another person here that I know of. And I'm really alone. And it's kind of cool. It's cool, and it's also a little creepy, but it's mostly cool. But it got me thinking about just kind of that sense of being alone. So have you ever felt alone, like really alone? Maybe you were by yourself for a long period of time. I took a trip one time. I was meeting my best friend over in Europe, and I was taking a train to Stranraer, Scotland, on the west coast of Scotland. And I was the last one on the train, and it got to the station at like 12:30 in the morning. I was the only one on the train, and I walked into the town, small town. No one was up. There was not a soul on the street. Everything was shut down, including where I was supposed to spend the night that night. And I almost spent the night on the steps of the church there in the small town. And finally, I got somebody to answer the door of the hostel, and I was glad. But I'd never felt that alone in my entire life. So, maybe that's you. Maybe you felt alone, like in an instance, but maybe you feel lonely. I know that many people right now are feeling the sense of loneliness, and maybe you felt left out, lonely. Everybody's felt that way at some point. There's been some studies that nearly 1 in 3 people your age feel completely alone most of the time, and nearly 40% have felt left out sometimes or always. And that really hurts. That hurts me to my core. And no one wants to feel that way. And there's a reason that hurts so bad, and it's our big idea for the night. And it's this, that belonging, that sense of being a part of something, being part of a group is the driving force behind almost everything you do during adolescence, during that period of time. It's basically 6th grade through mid-20s, but especially during the teen years. Belonging is it. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right, so here's some biblical truth for us. So you know this, but we have been created in God's image. That's Genesis 1:27. We've been created in the image of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, which means we have literally been created and wired for relationships. We've been created and wired to be in friendships, to be in a group, to eventually be in romantic relationships, those long-term relationships. That is what we have been made for. So this is why belonging is such a big deal for you, for any age. Belonging to a group, a tribe, a family, a squad, whatever you want to call it, is right up there with food, with clothing, with shelter. You don't have those things, you can't survive. So being part of a group helps us feel safe. True belonging helps us to feel like we can be who we really are. Belonging is fueled by the sense of being needed. When you feel like you're needed somewhere, that helps you feel belonging. And it's actually connected to health and well-being. I think we know that. So here's the deal. Some of us have lots of friends. Some of us have just a few really close friends. Some people have lots of friends but still feel like you don't belong. Some people feel like you don't have any friends, and that's a tough place to be. These are real human struggles. Now, if you struggle with that, please know you're not alone. Number 2, please know that God is faithful to provide and comfort. And I really believe, and have experienced this, God, as you trust and pray and listen to God, He will provide godly friendships. It may not happen as fast as we want it. We're impatient sometimes, but God is faithful, and I believe that the Spirit comforts the lonely and the people that seek Him. The entire Bible is a story of God's faithfulness to His people. Psalm 23, I think of that. The Lord is my shepherd. He guides me. He takes care of me. Psalm 34:18 says this, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. That's powerful. So the big thing I want you to remember tonight, as we move forward and as we continue to talk about in D groups, The big thing I want you to remember is to lean on Jesus' love, and don't, as a disciple, don't compromise your beliefs and morals just to try to fit in and belong. That's why belonging and fitting in is so powerful. Sometimes we are tempted to change what we believe so that we can fit in. The desire to belong is so powerful, we are tempted to bend our morals to fit in and try to belong. This is real. So there's some things. So I think we use a lot of things to do this. We use a lot of things to try to fit in and belong, or just deal with the pain of feeling lonely. I mean, that's maybe covering up some other pain, and we're going to try to talk about all of that this fall. But just a few things. Social media. Maybe this is you. Somewhere in one of these, every one of us struggles. So social media, constantly scrolling, and we know the feeling that if you scroll for over an hour, you don't feel any better. I've been there, you've been there. Video gaming. I'm not a big gamer, but I know that people that just get lost in the gaming world in order to try to forget. Sometimes it's for community, but sometimes it's just to try to get away from the world. Of course, alcohol, drugs, including vaping. People are seeking community or trying to cope with something, trying to fit in somewhere. I mean, that's what people use. Physical relationships with the opposite sex, inappropriate stuff online. People use those stuff when they are lonely and trying to feel like they're a part of something, or they're trying to cope with pain. This is pretty deep stuff. Then other things, lanlanguage, inappropriate jokes, we use those to try to fit into groups. We've all done that. Of course, there's the pressure to have the right things and spend lots of money on all the right clothes and all the right things, or the right gear, the right toys. They're all there. And we all use those things sometimes, and we've had to be aware of it. So over the next few months, we'll talk about how a disciple of Jesus is supposed to think about these things. What is a disciple of Jesus? All those things we listed, all those real life things, and including friendships, dating, building parents' trust, and how to fight with your friends. How does a disciple fight with their friends? All these things, and through all of them, I want you to be thinking. Here's the recurring thing from this fall. Be thinking, how does my desire to belong and fit in impact the decisions I make? I want you to be more and more aware of it, because it is there constantly, that deep desire to belong and fit in. And if we're not careful, we will change what we believe and our morals, and we'll compromise things in order to fit in. Because belonging is the driving force behind almost everything during your period of life. It just is, and we want you to be aware of it. And the reason that is, it's not a bad thing. The reason it is because we are created in the image of God Himself, and we have been made for community. Now, you have a community, whether you feel it or not. It's your D group, and we want you to be a closer knit community. And we want you to be able to talk about these things, and that takes trust. So I hope you'll have a good time talking about them. I hope you will be real, and hope that you will grow together. Love you.